there, my name is Martin and welcome to the Mancunian way, where today we are going to talk transfers. Yes, the thing that everyone tends to get excited about, transfer. Who are Man City going to sign? Who are they going to sell? That's what we're going to talk about today in this video. I'm going to name 3 signings for me that money wasn't an object I would bring in to improve Manchester City. I'm also going to give you a little bit of stats as well on these players and why I think they should come to Manchester City. Again, money's not an object. So the first one, Kylian Mbappe over at Paris Saint-Germain. He's very versatile, can also play the number 9. He can play on the wing as well. He's also, once or twice I've seen him play a little bit just behind the striker. He's very, very versatile as a player, and that would suit a Pep Guardiola team straight away. But Kylian Mbappe, he played 27 games in Ligue 1 last year for PSG, scoring 27 goals, 7 assists. Now, this is the big thing. Now you'd think Farmers League, not that impressive. Here's the impressive thing for me. Shots per game ratio, 3.4. That is, 3.5 shots per game that he averages, really. Imagine that in the Premier League. Now the question is, would he get that time and space in the Premier League to get 3.5 shots off a game? That we wouldn't know, but again, this is fantasy booking now. His pass accuracy is not the best, 80%, it's around about 80.7%, so that needs to be improved. But again, Kylian Mbappe, not really there for passing, is he? He's more to put the ball in the onion bag. Trust me, that's what I think he'd do. God, if you want to win the raffle, you got to buy a ticket. So for me, Kylian Mbappe would be my number 1 dream signing. Money's not an object. Get him in tomorrow for me. Rodri had a bit of an up and down season last year, so for me, my money's not an object. It's got to be Joshua Kimmich over at Bayern Munich, the German international. Absolutely phenomenal for me. He's 26 years old. He is contracted to Bayern Munich till 2023. Now, he made 25 appearances in the Bundesliga last year, and he also made 2 sub appearances, making a total of 2,197 minutes with 4 goals, 10 assists. He has a tackle rate of 1.5 tackles per game, 1.3 interceptions per game, which is pretty good. Only 0.2 on blocks, which isn't great. His pass accuracy is 88.3. That's his big strength. Now, Rodri has 1.1 interceptions a game, so Kimmich has a better interception ratio than him. Tackles, Rodri does make 2.1 tackles per game, which is better than Joshua Kimmich. But, however, his pass accuracy, who do you think's better? Rodri, Kimmich? This surprised me big time. Rodri, 91.3% pass accuracy within a game. That is something I didn't even realise about Rodri until you look at the stats, you think about it, you look back at games, and he is. But Rodri's 25 years old, Kimmich is 26 years old. He's got 2 goals to assist, Rodri, this year. He's won 2.4 aerial duels as well as Rodri. Now, for me, Rodri needs that bit of competition. Joshua Kimmich would bring that. For me, one of the best, if not the best, CDM in the world right now. So for me, Joshua Kimmich, dream signing again, he's up there with Mbappe. Final dream signing is a left back. No, I don't mean a makeshift left back. I don't mean square pegs and round holes now, or round pegs and square holes, whichever way you want to say that. I am talking a born and bred left-footed left back, and that is Lucas Digne at Everton. But Lucas Digne, for me, is one of the best, if not the best, left back in the Premier League. I know the rags over the road will be shouting Luke Shaw at me and everything else, but Lucas Digne is the man for me. Contracted to Everton until 2025, has just signed a new contract, so that would be a sticking point, unfortunately. But again, this is fantasy booking. He's 27 appearances last year. He has basically got He's played 2,682 minutes, which is quite a lot. 7 assists. He's got an interception of 1 interception per game. Pass rate of only 77.5%, which could be a little bit of a problem at Manchester City, especially like we like to play out from the back. You look at Zinchenko. So what I went and did, I compared that to some of Zinchenko's stats. He had a pass accuracy of 89.8. Now remember, Digne was 77.5, Zinchenko is 89.8. So far better passer. So that would be something Digne would have to improve on to come in at Manchester City. Now, his clearances for Digne is 2.4 a game, whereas Zinchenko's is only 1.3 a game. Let's have a look at the tackles. Zinchenko does 1.3 tackles per game. Luca Digne does 2.1 tackles a game. I've also got aerial duels 3.1 by Digne, whereas Zinchenko's not the greatest aerial dueler.
My 3 fantasy signings for Manchester City Football Club. I think at the moment I would look at Mbappe as a fantasy signing, obviously because to me he's probably the nearest thing to Thierry Henry from the old days. Awesome player, quick, balances well, scores lots of goals, can play on wide right or wide left or even down the middle. I think I'd look at him as probably the first one. I think the second one, I would look at Jude Bellingham as the replacement for Fernandinho. I'm quite keen on his potential. 17, 18-year-old lad with tall, strong, balances well, passes the ball well, tackles well. I think City should be looking at him as well as a possible replacement for Fernandinho. I'd also look at, I'd probably look at someone like Grealish as an attacking midfielder. I think we need that at the moment. And obviously his performances for England and Aston Villa from last year, I think is a very good option for an alternative for what City need at this present moment in time.
Okay, fantasy signings for City this year. I believe number 1 for me would be Romelu Lukaku. Several reasons really. I don't think we've had a decent target man for years, especially since Edin Dzeko. We've been crying out for a target man for years, someone to bring on maybe, when we need an alternative. And I think Romelu Lukaku would be a dream signing. He's on fire for Inter. The man knows where the goal is, and it would really pee the Man United fans off as well. So there's an added bonus. Number 2 would be Kylian Mbappe. I think his speed, his pace speaks for itself. The man is a menace in the box, and he'd just be a dream addition to an already fantastic City side. You can imagine him sweeping forward with getting on the end of the De Bruyne balls. I mean, come on, it's just going to be an amazing link-up. And the third would be Erling Haaland. He's one for the future. I know he's not proven, but he could be a really good prospect for the next 10 years. He could be there forever. And he loves City because of the connection with his father, Alf Inge. And I think he shows a lot of promise. And again, it's unlikely to happen because City have never spent more than 60 million on a player. But it's a dream. I can dream, and those are the 3 that I dream about. So there you go.
So my first will be Erling Haaland. I believe we do need a striker to replace Aguero, and I believe Erling Haaland will be the right pick. I know there's been a lot of talk about Harry Kane, but you have to look at Erling Haaland. He's a lot younger. I think he had 41 goals last season. He had 12 assists. He's great in the air. He's a very good finisher. I just think he offers something different, for City that we haven't got and we haven't had for quite a while, since the likes of Edin Dzeko. I think the only thing that lets him down is maybe his passing and defensive kind of he's not great, but I think that's something that Pep could definitely work on. Okay, so my second pick will be Jack Grealish. I know there's been a lot of talk about him in the news lately. You know, there's a debate whether he's worth 100 million, but to be honest, I just think, you know, for an English, you know, central midfielder, left attacking midfielder, anywhere across that front three, to be honest, even as a false number 9 you could look at, I just think he's a class act. You know, I know he's not done it in the top levels of competition yet, but he is, you know, a really good player moving forward. You know, okay, he only got 7 goals and 12 assists last season, but that's something I think that could be definitely worked on, improved, playing under Pep Guardiola and the Manchester City side. I'd love to see him come to City. I think he would be a brilliant addition. So for my third and final pick, might surprise some people, but I'm going to go for Jude Bellingham. I do believe he is a brilliant player. I know he's young, but in my eyes, from what I saw him playing against City in the Champions League, I thought he was one of the best players on the pitch. His transfer market value at the moment is around 50 million. I believe that's a snip from what he'll eventually go from Dortmund. I think he is a mixed hybrid between a Yaya Toure and a Fernandinho. He brings in some brilliant fouls, you know, those tactical fouls that we see Fernandinho's doing so well. And I just think, you know, the goals that he has scored, and he's only scored 4 goals in current competitions and 4 assists, but from what I've seen, you know, he could be that hybrid, and he could be that player that, you know, that we've missed in the likes of Yaya Toure. So I would love to see City go for him this summer. I know it probably won't happen if we're realistic, but I just think he would be a potential world-class player moving forward. So that is my third and final pick.
These are just the 2 that I think will happen. One is definitely going to happen, that I think will be Jack Grealish. I think all signs point to it being a done deal. I think the way Aston Villa are being very cute with the way they're spending their money already. They've got, they bought this guy from, is it Norwich? I can't remember his name. They're going after Rowe Smith over at Arsenal. They're putting a big bid for him. There's been rumours of Ward-Prowse. So Aston Villa are clearly spending money. Now, don't get me wrong, Villa have got some decent owners and they have got some money to spend. But in a post just coming out of COVID, where we're still into it, have they got 100 odd million to spend, really? When they've had no crowds for nearly 2 years? I'm not too sure. So for me, all signs are pointing at they're spending the Jack Grealish money already. Now the question is for me, is he worth nearly 100 million? If you go off the Euro performances, definitely. Very versatile, can play on the right, can play on the left. People say he plays in the middle. He doesn't really play within the middle. Now I've had a look at the last 50 games for Jack Grealish. He's played 21 on the left hand side. He's played attacking mid, which is your KDB role, 14 times. He's only played centre midfield in your Gundogan and Bernardo roles 4 times. 4 times only, which did surprise me a little bit, but he tends to be on the left hand side, which is where he gets a lot of the joy. Now for me, that causes a little bit of a problem because the left hand side is very, very crowded. You got Phil Foden, you've got Raheem Sterling likes to go there. So for Jack Grealish to come in, someone is going to have to leave the club, in my eyes. Now he had 24 starts last season in the Premier League, 2 as a sub, paid 2,184 minutes with 10 assists and 6 goals. He did have a shot per game ratio 1.9 and a pass success rate of 83.3%, gaining him 4 man of the matches. Again, these are just Premier League statistics from the 2021 season just gone. So Jack Grealish for me, I think will come in. He is contracted to Villa till 2025. I just think Jack Grealish also offers you that he can play the 9. So if City wanted to go back to that false 9 role that they did so well last season, getting him to a Champions League final, getting him to winning him a Carabao Cup, winning him a league, getting him to an FA Cup semi-final, I don't see why we couldn't do it again if the Kane deal does not happen. Contract to 2025, like I say, and I just think all roads, signs point to Jack Grealish heading to the Etihad. Did say some not great things about the club on his Twitter, well, his team did. With Twitter and footballers, you always think it's their media team doing it and not the player. And they've apparently reportedly been deleted now. So, yeah, all signs to me point for Jack Grealish coming to the Etihad. Now, the second one is Harry Kane, that we know about. He is contracted to Tottenham Hotspur until 2024. He's 27 years old currently, will be 28 if he does sign for Manchester City. I think he's 28 in late July, if I remember. Now, despite his injury record, he did make 35 appearances last season with 23 goals and 14 assists. He has a shot per game ratio of 3.9, which is actually better, remembered in my question one, better than Kylian Mbappe, and that's in the Premier League, so that's actually quite impressive. His pass accuracy, not so much, 69.9%, so that's something he'd have to learn with under Pep Guardiola. For Harry Kane to come in for that amount of money at that age, I'm not too sure. Would he score your goals? Most definitely. People say we'd definitely win you a title. Well, we won the title last season. We had no Harry Kane. We had no striker. So, does Harry Kane win you the title? Yeah, because we won the title without Harry Kane. So why couldn't we win the title with Harry Kane? It's a bit of an illogical question to me, that one, because we've already done it without him. So, yeah, as you can see, I'm a bit on the fence. I think Jack Grealish, big tick, done. And I think Harry Kane, if City can get a deal with Daniel Levy, which will be so difficult because he's a notorious negotiator, I think Harry Kane will be into. So we'll have to just wait and see. It's going to be a good summer if City do get those two.
I think it's realistic signings for this season. I think obviously the number one signing I think we need is a striker. I think realistically, Mbappe's out of the question. I think his wages will be too high. It's going to be quite difficult to sign players this year, with one, after the pandemic, and two, I think getting players over the line will be quite hard. A striker is definite. I will probably say Kane is a realistic target for City this year. It's between Kane and Haaland. And I think both of them score lots of goals. Haaland's probably the most potential with his age. Kane is a ready-made replacement because he's got experience in the Premier League. And I personally think that he's probably the most realistic signing for us this year. I think that Grealish is probably a realistic signing because I think he's looking to step up now into the Champions League from Aston Villa. And after his performances from England has justified that.
Okay, so for my realistic signings, I'll start with striker because I do believe that is the position we need to look at most this summer. Now, he's not my first choice, but it is Harry Kane, realistically. We've had a lot in the news lately about him. There's a lot of banding around about how much he would go for. He's currently valued on transfer market for around 100 million. I do believe if we could get him for that, then I would be happy. And you can't deny how brilliant Harry Kane is. He is a world-class striker. You only have to look at his goals last season, 31 goals, 18 assists. And he is he's brilliant on the ball. He's a brilliant passer, brilliant holding up the ball. And I think he would score a lot of goals if he came to Manchester City. For my next pick for realistic signings this summer, I would have to look at the left back situation. I know Zinchenko did a great job last season, but it's not his natural position, and I do believe we do need a left-sided centre back. I don't think Mendy's that player either. Way too many injuries. No offence to the guy, but my pick for this summer's transfer would be Robin Gosens, the German international, currently at Atlanta, playing in Serie A. I think he would be an amazing addition. He's had 14 goals last season, all competitions, and 8 assists. Moving forward, he is sublime. And I think in this Pep Guardiola side, he would put up those kind of numbers, if not more. I think he's a brilliant left back. His currently market value is around 31 million. Atlanta would probably want a bit more, 40, 50 million, but I do believe he's a realistic sign that we could get this summer.
Okay, realistic signings. I think really I can only put my finger on one realistic signing this year, and it looks like it's going to be Jack Grealish. I can see us spending some money on someone like him. There'll be a slight crossover in this answer to another question later on, but I think Jack Grealish will bring a lot to our team. He already plays the style of football that we play, and he's doing it in a bang average team. You can imagine what he'd be doing if he was in our team, linking up with the likes of Raheem Sterling, De Bruyne. I mean, he's just a good fit for us, and he'd probably fit right in very easily, and he's a proven entity. I mean, look at the guy, speaks for itself, and I can see him joining City for sure, and if all the media is correct, then he will be.
Realistic outgoing to Manchester City this summer, and this was a lot easier for me, this one. And again, I'm going off media conjunction, I'm going off what I read and what I hear from people. So, and you look at body language and it's just things like that I go off, and money raising as well. So for me, the ones that I think will leave will be Bernardo Silva, and my shock one will be Emerick Laporte, that I think will leave.
The actual outgoings for this summer, I think 2 players, no more than that, will be leaving the club. I think, first of all, Mendy, because of his fitness, and if we can get a good price for him, we should offload him because he's on good wages at City. I think he's the one that we need to make room for to create some space in the squad. I know Sergio's already gone, and good luck to him wherever he's gone, because he's been a hero for us, everybody. And I think potentially Bernardo wants to leave the club, and he should be allowed to leave if he doesn't want to play for us anymore.
Okay, actual outgoings. Like I said earlier, I think Benjamin Mendy will go because he's really his time has come, and I think Pep Guardiola knows that. I think he'll definitely get rid of Benjamin Mendy. I can't see what he brings to the team any longer, really. And when you've got Zinchenko, and if we bring in another left back, then really I can't see where he's going to get in the team every week. And sad to say that I said to earlier Jack Grealish would be coming in. I think if he does, I think it could spell the end for Bernardo. There's already been inklings that he wants to leave, and I think maybe Bernardo could be the person that actually leaves to make way for Jack Grealish. A very talented player. Bernardo, I love the guy. I mean, he's been brilliant for us, and I don't want him to leave, but I think it's very possible that he will. Also, another player I think who could leave, and it's going to be very hard on him, is Nathan Ake. He's not had a lot of game time. He's a talented player, but there's so many other players in front of him. I don't think he wants to be an also-ran. I just don't, So I think Nathan Ake, he could maybe try and request a move away. Probably thought he was going to be a starter for City when he signed, but unfortunately the way Stones and Diaz have linked up, and even when Laporte comes in, I think Nathan Ake is going to struggle to get in the starting 11. So yeah, Nathan Ake unfortunately could be one of those who goes.